not doing the bedroom tricks, not doing the outside tricks. You can do all of that, jump flips and all that. That will not keep that man, that woman from betraying you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Purposed and Powerful podcast, where tonight we're talking about fidelity and faithful, what it is, what it's not, and how they are completely two different things. So what I wanted to open up with is that everyone always feels jaded. They feel betrayed, disrespected if they've been cheated on. Okay, so also something to think about for the people who have never, been the recipient or been the victim, and they've been the aggressor. You would know that it's not even about the mate. It's just about you. It's a very selfish act. It's just something that you wanted to do. So we're not going to get into which one you've been or anything like that, because, this is your life, and, everybody has a past, a present, and a future. And that's not our angle. So as a woman, of course, that's like the worst, you think it's over, you think it's the worst thing that can happen to you. And I've been there and been that victim. And so depending upon who you speak to, they will try to make it seem like they have to run through all of the parameters under which is this something you help contribute to, such as, girl, were you spicing it up in the bedroom? How often were you giving it up? Like, what could you have done to prevent said thing or whatever? Well, in short, there's nothing that you can do personally to prevent it. Now, there are things that you can do to contribute to the person that is going to betray you, whether they felt like they got tired of seeing your bonnet on your head at night. They got tired of you not dressing the lingerie for them, not doing the bedroom tricks, not doing the outside tricks. Everyone wants a lady in the streets and a freak in the bed type stuff. You can do all of that, jump flips and all that. That will not keep that man, that woman, whatever, from betraying you. Now, something Jabril and I talked about that was really kind of like a different twist is for the person that's feeling like they're being betrayed. Let's say you go snooping through the car, the wallet, the socks drawer, the underwear drawer, and all that. Guess what you're doing? You're also betraying his trust, her trust. I know you had a feeling, but you didn't give them the opportunity to first lie to you, and then you go find it. Now, if you have to betray trust to get that information, that your intuition isn't as powerful, then there are some things that you have to think about yourself. So I want to open the floor to anyone who wants to say whether they have been the victim, whether they have been, the aggressor, or what their take is about, hey, do you know that you're also being very dishonest and untrustworthy when you go to find out without going to the person and giving them the benefit of the doubt to first lay your concerns or fears to the side?
Before we go into that, I was just trying to find out whose iPhone I was asking.
He's on.
I know, but who is iPhone? We just like to know who we are. It's open space. We're transparent. It's gonna be who's iPhone. How you doing?
Let's do we know
the name. So what we do is we like to have when on our guests or people on the call, it just says iPhone, but it won't say who it is. So I send a direct message. So I'm just having deep, intimate conversations, and we just want to know who it is, who you are. Or just put your name in the chat. What'd you say, Brandy?
They don't have their audio on, whoever it is. They're just connected via video.
Right, but do you know who that is, Erica?
I have no idea.
I think it's my brother. So just so everybody knows, if you ever go back and watch the replays, we take out like the faces, and it's just me and Jabril's face. But we want the real conversation piece that helps add, the content.
I mean, he looked like somebody that I owed, like I took a extra fries and somebody's done. I don't know what's going on. I mean, he was upside down at first, then he just came on and it was a little, so I didn't know who that was. I knew it was one man male in it, but I didn't know. So did they go? Oh, here he is. Okay. So
would you like to start? Like, you don't have to say whether you were the aggressor or the victim.
Look,
what do you think about that?
First of all, I'm gonna just tell you how I feel about cheating. And this is where it's going to get real disruptive. So purposed and powerful is the truth. I'm the real Jabril. And I just believe, and I don't know if people agree with this, so we can hear it. I'm gonna need some feedback, but I believe that everyone cheats, because cheating is anything that you don't want your significant other to know about. So it's different levels of cheating. We're not just talking about sleeping with someone. We're talking about emotional cheating, spiritual cheating. Physical, it can get to the physical, but you could have an emotional affair for years. You can have somebody that every Christmas, you know, you're going to see them at the Christmas dinner with the family, and that's just for that few hours. You have that crush or whatever, and you can continue that. It could be a trip that you meet somebody and you don't sleep with them, but you have that emotional attachment. You always have it at church. I know that growing up, I mean, it would be people, they might have been in a relationship and I was single, but they look forward to me going to church to see them, and I would get that hug. You know, the hugs and stuff you get when everybody, that was probably sometimes my favorite part of going to service, you know. So, and it depends on what church I went, if they had a nice praise and worship service, but it was just those things that I look forward to going to church. So I'm telling you, all of that is cheating, and it's a secret. It's the secret thing that people don't talk about. Just like they say that there's no sin is a sin, cheating is cheat. And that's why I feel about it. So I would love to hear anybody else's take.
I could say something. I feel like what would bother me is the act and the intent, like the finagling it to make the act happen. So it's just like those repetitive moments that you're having with a person because you intend on making that happen. Cheating, I guess sometimes, like if they're like, she attractive, that's not really too bad of a cheat to me, or, you know, certain things or thoughts, but it's like when you start acting on things like, let me message them, let me, you know, things like that. And then the actual like physical contact of making it happen, like that's a cheat, a full on cheat for me. So I do agree with Jabril said about the levels. I think certain levels hurt more.
Oh, absolutely.
And yeah. And so for me, like what happened in the past, like one of my boyfriends that I've been with for like a long time, I had found out by the girl messaging me that he was like messaging her, and she was his ex and things like that. And I was just like, you know, when they intended on meeting up, and it never actually happened. They didn't ever meet up, but all of that intention was something I took into like play, like, because y'all were like the messaging itself, the back and forth. Now, if you say, I know this person will be at church and, you know, I'll hug them, or I'll say hi to them, or, you know, like some of that stuff is not like actually reaching out and actually like having that one-on-one like contact and intention to do it. So that was cheating for me.
And what happened? And thank you so much for your transparency, because I have all the levels. I've been through all of the levels, so I understand. So I'm not acting like I just went to church and hugged, you know, somebody who smelled real nice in their voice into the bathroom, and I just got that extra hug. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, well, number one, what you talking about intent. They didn't do anything, but she sent you a message as if she's allying with you all of a sudden.
And so I found that suspicious. I was like, you know, it's almost like, do you want, like, what will you get out of telling me this, you know?
Intent.
And so, so I'm done like with that relationship. But at the time it was fishy, and I was like, well, what is she trying to, you know, get from this? And I just took all of those angles into consideration. We was apart for a minute, but then I also was like, is she trying to win this situation? Like, what are you, you know, it was like, it was hard. It was tough to try to figure that out, because nothing actually happened, but it was just intention going on. He explained his side and things like that. So again, we're not together now, but at the time there was like a break, and then, you know, what kind of happened.
Did you go back to the relationship and then it finally
broke? I did. I went back to the relationship after that. Yeah. And I think that people, for me, I'm a forgiving person. And so like I said, I try to understand both sides, and listening to him and his side and things like that. I'm like, okay, I could be forgiven and give a chance and just see what you're about, or like all of that. And so I did. I went back and gave it a chance. But there was some underlying things of why we're not together, more than he actually physically cheated. He didn't physically cheat. It was just intention cheating.
So, okay, I like this. So we're getting our vocabulary together for the purpose and powerful podcast. We got, what you call it again, Doc?
Intentional cheating. Like you intend on finding out or possibly making that connect, and the connect didn't happen, but I still considered it cheating.
Right. So you feel that women, or have any of you found out you were doing the perfect situation, doing everything right, and you found out that your male friend, quote unquote, cheated, whether it was intentional or not? Does it make you, because usually, do you understand that usually when that happens, you have your old friends, your old male friends, and you've been trying to be good. I mean, you've been doing everything good. You've been holding it down. You don't, the dude who just messed up, Ashley and Erica and Brandy, doesn't realize that you've been good. But now that they've shown infidelity on certain levels, does it make you want to call that person back? Or have any of you ever done that? I hate to call it tit for tat, but at that time you're feeling vulnerable, you're hurt, betrayed, and that guy just comes back.
I would say, thank you for that question. I would say it doesn't really make you really play tit for tat, because depending upon where you are in the relationship and how you really truly feel about that person, it can really be paralyzing, because now you're saying, what did you do wrong? Like in your mind, you're like, okay, you're so hurt, but then, devil's advocate, you're like, well, is there something that I did to contribute to this? Does he not find me attractive anymore? Like what is the deal with that? And really it's just not. So like years later, I could understand that, it was just him. That wasn't my problem. That was his problem. Right. So it's just more kind of like, that's how you have to be secure in you. And then you have to really understand the moves you need to make when someone violates your trust. But as my grandmother and my mom would say, if you go looking for something, you're going to find it. So when I had a suspicion at a time, I was like, okay, well, I knew myself. Like, I feel kind of, I didn't even have to go looking. See, I didn't go through the wallet, through this, whatever. It was something very strange. Like I had this weird dream type thing. And it was just like, case in point, I dreamed that my ex-husband, he was my husband at the time, he was in Canada with some girl. And I was like, Canada? Like it was something way left field. And I'm thinking, that was a crazy dream. But my husband was actually working overseas at the time in the Middle East. And then when he had said that he was thinking about getting a divorce, he was like, well, he had put together this all expenses paid trip, and he was inviting his mom. And we have our birthdays within like a 3-week period of time, all of us. And then he was like, do you have your passport? Have you renewed your passport yet? I'm like, it's at the passport office. And he went ahead and went with it. But turns out, this is like a month and a half later after I had the dream. It turns out that he actually was, he did plan a trip to Canada. And that's where he took the mistress. So God will always show you different things. You just may not be able to put the one and two together. But even at the time, because it didn't sit right with me, I said, that is such a strange dream. And I knew I had to make a decision. If I was going to go assert, I was going to have to do action, because I can't know about something and not take action. So I said, if I go look this up, I have to have a plan. What does that plan look like? Am I leaving this man? Am I working it out with this man? What are we doing here? Even in that. But I had no reason to not trust him. But it's just when I just feel like when it's your time, it's your season, and God loves us that much that he's just gonna put that spotlight in the right place. Like, this is the time that I'm ending this, because it should not have been something that would have been jarring, like a weird dream like that. And then connection, actually talking about it now is how I'm able to make the connection that was the same location that I dreamed about, just different makeup of a female, different makeup, different things. And even though he was kind of on his way out, she was always, I've come to find out, she was always there in the background in some way, shape, or form. So when Ashley's talking about the intentional, that intent can happen years in advance. Like when you see situations where like the CEO leaves the wife for the secretary, like that stuff builds up over time. And they just are not courageous enough to exit. My thing is, here's the thing. If everybody just took a break and said, this is what I want, and before they went and did things to destroy your trust and hurt you, just make the decision that you want to end it and go live your life. Because if that's what you want, I love you. I have to be strong enough to love you when you're with me as I am when it is time to release you. If better is not with me and I want the best for you, I have to be courageous enough to let you go.
All right. I think that's good. That's true, because you can't have something that's not yours. And it may be yours, but maybe not right now. Depends on where that person is. Because I truly believe it takes 3 people for a relationship to work. You, the other person, and God.
That's
if
right.
any of those are not in alignment, it's not going to work. It won't. So let's say that God wants it, but neither one of you want it to work. Or one of you wants it to work and God wants it to work. It's not going to work. And the worst that's so common is 2 of you want to work, but God is nowhere to be found. So I know that it has to be 3 ways, a 3-way system, not when 2 are gathered, it's 3. And I've seen this, I've tried it all of the ways, and it just won't work if all 3 are not in alignment. So is Brandy able to say anything? I mean, whoever's on, it's open. This is like an open fireside chat. I mean,
I'm able to say something. So it's crazy. So as far as the cheating aspect, I definitely agree that there are levels to it. Like you said, with the emotional and then physical.
I can barely hear you, Brandy. I'm sorry, dear. Can you tune up?
Can you hear me?
That's a little better. That's a little better, because it's going all over the world, Brandy. So the world needs to hear you. There you go. There you go.
Okay. I would say I definitely agree to the fact that it is levels to cheating, whether it's emotional or the physical. And sometimes I think the emotional can hurt worse, because that means mentally you've gotten involved with someone else, or mentally you're thinking about someone else. Sometimes it's not about the physical, because let's be real, sometimes you can lay down with someone and not have any feelings. So I think emotional is just another aspect of it, which takes more of a toll on the situation.
Let me say this real quick, Brandy. I'm just going, I think a lot of brothers will admit this, or this is how I feel.
Look, y'all can't handle it. Let's be real, but go ahead.
So I don't mind. I'm just saying, if I had to take it, you got to pick your poison. My wife or girlfriend, whoever, I wouldn't mind. I was talking to Terry all night long and all that. But if she physically was with Terry all night long, that one is going to mess with me. Because the other one, just stop talking to him. But if she physically dealt with the person, nah. Now, I guess there are some women who could say, you slept with him, but did you love her? And all of that. You hear that. Did you love her? No, I didn't love her. Okay, then I'll take you back. Yeah. Now you're telling me that he talked to this woman and did things with her, but never slept with them. That you could, what you're saying, that the emotional for ladies, and I'm asking all of you, it's harder for you to cope.
So I think really, when I say emotional, if emotionally I'm thinking about you, I'm longer to talk to you, I'm longer to spend time with you, I'm doing this, that means a lot. Well, that means if I have this man right next to me and I'm not longer to talk to him and longer to spend time with him, that means this man means more to me than you do. But physically, don't take this the wrong way, but physically I can lay down, get mine, you get yours, so we go about our separate ways. That's how we come in with one night stands. There's nothing attached.
Right. So, I know, but it's I don't know, but then you got the spirit. Now you got the spirit in soul tie. You got a potential disease, the itchies.
But I'm just saying, it just happens. It's where we live in. So that's why I say with the physical, if people have one night stands, let's just say every day, they don't catch feelings. That's it. That's all. Maybe I got drunk at the club and we decide to go home. That's it. That's all. That's all we have. So that person ain't nothing to me. I just needed to get that compared to I'm emotionally involved with someone.
But usually the emotional can turn into something physical 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, it definitely can.
And those last for years. They're very hard to shake. You talk about counseling, losing your job, losing your mind. I mean, it can become a real problem. I don't know if any of you have been. I've been in a few, but I do know that it has set me back, or I've allowed those situations to set me back beyond what I could really have in my life right now.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, you know, they're bad. It's like crack, and you still keep going back. Has anybody ever been in anything like that? You don't have to explain it, but I'm just wondering if I'm the only person on the call.
No, you're good. I love what Brandy said, but you know, like society now, you know, you see that with the Smiths, the open marriage. You know, they'll talk that thing like it's like the best thing ever, but obviously it doesn't work either. So, you know, you have monogamy, and then, you know, people are really into the polyamory, having more than one. At the end of the day, it is about your emotional balance and your emotional bandwidth of how you can deal with the relationship. Because if you're not emotionally sound, doesn't matter if you have one partner, three partners, two. If you're not emotionally balanced, then everything that you're going to be attached to is going to be affected by that balance or imbalance, rather. But definitely, it just, people make the assumption that only men can just lay down and get back up without it rolling. I mean, I think everybody has propensity to do it.
No, everyone
really
does,
do.
because and I learned this. I said, well, if I can do this with a person, and it's the woman, then she definitely, even if her boyfriend doesn't know, whoever, or husband, whoever, then I know that anyone is capable of doing it, because you can't do it by yourself. The man can't do this alone, and the woman can't do it alone. So both are equally involved. I think the society just makes it more taboo for a woman to do something, because when you think about, even in office, you always see the man get caught. How many times have you seen some woman senator or something have some scandal? You don't, even if it happens. So I don't know if women are just better at cheating or doing things than men, and we're just sloppy, but I've never seen on the news a woman doing that. It's not coming out, or even getting pregnant. I mean, it's always the man who's doing it. Why do you think that is?
Because women handle theirs better.
We're better, right?
We're better at it. We can handle it better than you guys.
Gangster.
Y'all just be wilding out, like, you know, at some point you just don't even care about getting caught. But women try to keep the balance in the situation because they've already made a decision. Leaving is not an option. It's just he's the option, and I'm gonna go right back onto my house and handle my business and whatever. Right. But women are just better at handling that because they know where to park their feelings.
Wow. But it's so interesting, because you think that the woman is the emotional one. But I think men, I don't even know if
men are definitely emotional. And it's like, in a lot of aspects, men can dish things, but then when you can't take it. And it's a lot of men that, you know, finally can admit to that. But
I can admit
are
that.
so wrapped up in
because we will expect a woman could mess up one time. We've done it 10 times, 10 years. Right. She does it one time.
Y'all were ended.
Now she trash. She a hoe.
Right. But she been on for 10 years. Right.
She taking care of the other baby, and she does it one time, and it's hard. So it is some horrible double standards, unfortunately. And I mean, so I do give my hat and my heart to women, because how many men would take care of a woman's child if she had it with another man and had to bring him to the home?
None, because they don't want to take care of their own. What do you mean? What you talking about? But, you know, I think we don't want to miss this piece. The reason why the people can cheat is because they first cheat themselves. So it makes everything else possible after that.
Break that down for me real quick, Eric.
So you cheat yourself by saying what you have is not enough. And it's just really, you are not enough. So you got to go find this piece to fill this hole, find this piece to fill that hole, whatever like that. And you're never satisfied. It's just kind of like embezzling funds. People who steal from you or steal from someone, at first they're, you know, the first cheating, they're probably feeling like, oh my gosh, I hope I don't get caught. But it's the idea of getting caught, but not getting caught. And then afterwards, the reason why men get caught up, because it doesn't matter. I don't think a can get caught. So you just start just doing all kind of stuff. Don't care about how you do it, when you do it. You got a whole trail. At first you're good at it. Then you got a whole trail of little breadcrumbs that lead right where you've been.
And that's horrible, right? I call it the hokey pokey. Not good. It's not good. It's not good at all. And especially, I think men who aspire or who already are successful, and we can dig into this maybe in another episode, should really consider settling down or finding someone who's true. And it doesn't always have to be the high school sweetheart, but it can be somebody new. and just really, because you need that stability. You can't have a different woman every Thanksgiving, somebody else, or Christmas, and it gets real cold and old after a while, especially if he has children. What type of example is that man setting for the children? Because the children are going to pattern based on what they see, as opposed to what they're told or see on TV. When they see it in the house, that's the first reality show that they're witnessing every single day.
So here's a different angle. There's always a support for a woman. Nobody beats a woman up and say you're a horrible person because you cheated on your husband or you cheated on your boyfriend, right? But men, they will dog you. They'll talk bad about you. They'll sit in whole rooms and talk about you. So men have to figure out how they recover on their own. Like there's no Hoes Anonymous to get a man to straighten up. And everybody thinks that the thing to straighten him up is this one woman for life. But if he hasn't dealt with that, he'll just be back out there cheating again. You know.
So you're saying that there's no support for the man who cheats. We just look like dogs or bad guys.
That's right. Right.
But on the flip side, a man, I'm talking about in high places, can cheat. Some horrible cheat. Everyone talking about him like a dog. He comes back maybe a month later and has a promotion. And how do you feel about it? Let a woman have that. She's blackballed. She's not getting a promotion. She's not trustworthy. I hate to say this, but I'm just going to be real with it. I'm thinking about the coaching situation with Adoka and Nia Long, because it's something that played in my mind. And when I saw that happen, I said, man, I felt for him. I said, I wish that it didn't happen. Next thing you know, he has another coaching job. He was offered 2 actual positions, not assistant coach, head coach. And so it seems like men can get away with so much. And I'm not mad about it, but I'm just saying that we do get support, because even if you're a bad guy, quote unquote bad guy, another woman will take the bad guy quickly. Right. She said, and then she'll put it on the other woman. She wasn't handling her business. I'm gonna take care of you. So I don't necessarily agree with that, because I know that when I was in another relationship and I broke up, the women were sad, but they say, is anything to do? I help you. I'll look out, and I could have told her all my bad stuff. It's almost as if as long as I admitted it, she wouldn't say, oh, you're bad. She said, well, it wasn't all your fault. Don't worry about it. So I don't know. I feel that we get some support.
Well, it's fake support. So like the woman.
It's what kind of support?
It's fake support. So the woman that gets you next, she only has your story. The woman you cheat with only has your side of the story. You could have Holly Berry at home, cooking it up like Martha Stewart, in the bed like Megan Thee Stallion, and that does not prevent you from going out there and sowing your wild oats. It just doesn't. So whatever lie you feed her, to keep it going, which you just lying just to keep it going, by the way. It's not that you really want to be there. Most men don't have the intent that they're going to leave anything at home to go out to be with this woman. She said, yes, I literally have heard men say it was just another hole.
The hokey pokey. It's the hokey pokey.
Offered. It was easy. I took it. It didn't have to be about looks. It didn't have to be about anything else. She offered. It was an opportunity, and I took advantage. Yeah, but baby, I love you. But women destroy. The thing about it is, if you look at marriage, or even a relationship, like a partnership, if I had a business with you, $1 billion enterprise, and you went out and you start talking to these others, and we have this, because your relationship is a contract. I'm not going to burn my entire company down based on an act that you did. We need to come back and figure it out. So before people hold their whole marriage, homes, kids, everything, sometimes you might need to take a pause. I'm not saying you're staying with that person because it is, but you really are making a very emotional decision that you're going to make some lifelong changes for more than just you, if you have little ones to think about too. So because in the end, you still got all that emotional baggage to deal with, and then you're broken and you got to go heal to be able to find love again and everything like that. So if it's just that they cheated, it has to be the entire relationship that you examine, and not because your feelings are hurt that he went out and betrayed you.
That's a good point, Eric. I agree, because what else is out there? You jump out there and get another representative,
right?
And then what? see how that goes. And I think that there were talks that Nia Long was going to get back Fidoka. I'd heard that. But because when you try to go out there, you're not repaired. And the closest thing is probably to be with the person that you're with and work that out. Because if not, you go into a spiral and a circle. And we've seen this for a lot of these celebrities. They were one person one year, another person another year, and they have all the money, they have all of this. Even have kids with one person, now they have kids with the other one. So I think that the person that you do know, or just know at least, work that out. And I feel that that's how people used to do it back in the day, in the 90s or 20s. It's just here we've gotten to a society that the moment somebody, it's no really loyalty or commitment there. It's just it's not for rich or poor or for better or for worse. They just out. And I think I had sent you that meme of the woman who wouldn't say certain things. I was saying how different cultures where with us African Americans, if it gets worse, they're out. And one was saying, I'm with you, I love you as long as you're making that money, where in other cultures, they stick with you through thick and thin.
Right.
And I think that means a lot to a man, because you shouldn't be with somebody if you really love them based on conditions, if you really love the person.
Right. I mean, that's the contract you build. So just make sure your contract's a little bit more solid. And it not just because you're embarrassed, because sure, you get all the friends and they're calling and checking on you and how you feeling, how you doing when Susie's getting a divorce and all of this stuff. But no one's coming over to pay your bills, wash your clothes, take care of your kids and all this stuff. Like, work through the embarrassment, because actually, unlike Nia, it was very public. But a lot of things are private. So most people won't even know until you tell it.
Exactly. And how you tell it.
Now you put people in your business, in your home, in your situation, and you don't want them to be saying, girl, I can't believe she stayed with him. Yeah. Look at everything that we built, not him, us. We did that.
And you got to be careful. I've seen situations where the young lady would cry on her girlfriend's shoulder, and the girlfriend said, well, leave that man alone. She following up, playing double dip. She went and scooped him up and pooped him up. So I mean, and he's vulnerable. He's feeling like trash, and that's I've seen that situation happen a few times, too many. So you got to be careful who you share your information, especially when you're in a vulnerable position.
Absolutely. So we talked very much about fidelity. What about being faithful? So what are some things that you feel like are pillars, if you will, in being faithful, to a relationship? Because at first, you got to be faithful to you. If you're saying, hey, it's how you build a thing. However the foundation is built, that's how it's going to crack. So a lot of people get together before they're actually ready. We got pregnant, so we're jumping off and getting married, or where we slept together and we've been together for a couple of weeks and then we're making a relationship. Is like, how you got together is how it's going to break up.
Well, how about this? Oh, my lease is up. I don't have a place to stay. Well, my parents getting on my nerves. Let's live together.
Situationship. And then you're like surprised that it's not working. Well, you didn't even build it right to begin with. So how are you going to expect success out of something that seems so unsuccessful at this gate?
Let somebody answer that. Anyone want to stab at it? Because
repeat the question. I'm unclear on the question.
What are things, like we talked a lot about infidelity, right? Infidelity. But what are the things that you can do to make sure you set yourself up for a faithful relationship? So how you start has a lot to do with how you end. It's about building the foundation.
I would say it's about analyzing who you jumping into a relationship with, and what's the fruit of their life and how they're living, and you can tell their character up front. And then you decide, do I want to sign up for the long run? But, a lot of times you can kind of tell by just looking at some things, all the female besties he have, just certain things that might be a little bit of flags to you. And you can tell whether you want to sign up for that or if it's a problem. And then if you sign up for it, then it's going to be a recurring thing that could potentially be a cheating situation or whatever it is. So I would say start there at the foundation, is really analyze before committing, before allowing your emotions to get all entangled with somebody, to see what the flags are and say, do I want to deal with this person where they are now, not what their potential could be, not what they're telling me that, oh, people don't know me, I'm a better person than what they make me out to be. You know, people will say, they'll say anything, right? Because they want you. So, but what are they actually living? What are they actually doing? So those are fidelity up front. Like that would tell me whether they had the potential. And then, during the dating process, you get to see whether they live up to the things that they're saying, like whether be honest, or if they have made mistakes or whatever. You get to see how their character handles things. I think character is just the biggest thing. I hope that answers it. So that's yeah.
You're saying character. Well, Erica, and thank you so much for that, Ashley. I mean, it's the 3 C's, I think: character, contract, and commitment. And you focus on those 3 C's, and then you can reevaluate and see how that contract is working out.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to communicate that with each other, and you decide to stay committed. Because once you make that decision, if both of you are going in the right direction, it's going to be a lot of distractions, because the opposite of decision is distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Always know, as soon as you make a decision, there's going to be a lot of distractions.
Mm-hmm.
You felt that.
No, it's 100% with everything. As soon as you say, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do, then everything that comes against it, there's a lot of obstacles and distractions that come against it. So that's why character and commitment, like you said, all that matters the most. But Brandy, you chime in too, girlfriend. Because me and Brandy also talked before for a while.
Right.
Brandy's really good with this. Yeah.
Oh, you mean you talked before this was on?
Just meeting up, like, during other times we've been out of the state. Yeah.
Oh, shucks. Well, come on now. We got to do it up. Go ahead and say something,
So
Brandy.
I definitely feel like don't ignore the red flags. So many people like, oh, well, he fine, but he got this drama, or his, all kind of things. Don't ignore those flags and think like, oh, it'll get better, or oh, I will make that person this and I'll make it that. If it's something in the beginning that's the red flag, if that's not something that you can deal with in the long run, then don't get into it, because you get into it thinking it's going to change or it's going to get better, and 9 times out of 10 it won't, because you signed up for it at that point. So now you just need to accept it. Don't think like, if he's treating me like this, then if I, get married or stay in this relationship, he's going to treat me like this. I understand that, let's train him or whatever. But at the same time, some women feel that way, like, oh, I train or I'll make them, how I want them and stuff like that. And that's not the case. And most of the time, it's not the case. So don't go into something thinking that you can change this person. You accept what you have in front of you, and you decide from there if that's something you're willing to deal with for the long run.
That's right, because his own mother or father can't change him. So what makes you think when you meet him that it's going to happen? It's not going to happen.
So many women go into that thinking that, oh, it's going to get better. I'll change him, girl. Here it is. Nah, you got what you got. It's right there. It's not the representative. That's him.
The only thing that can change is you. That's it. That's the only thing you can. And if you try anything else, you're gonna feel it. But it's been a great time. We appreciate you. Next week we're going over. Well, so for episode 1, we're going to do a recap. We went over "I'm Not Your Barbie." So those of you who missed that or want to see it again, that was episode 1 last week. Today we went over Fidelity and Faithful, and next week I Dream of Mommy. The untold truths of presence. We're going to unveil the unfiltered truths of pregnancy and the challenges for women desiring to birth children, and even those who might have lost a child. But we're gonna dig deep a little bit on week number 3. Is anybody, Brandy?
Well, thank you.
What did you say?
I was just saying, okay.
You said okay. That's all you guys say, Brandy.
I mean, I'm ready for next week. I mean, like Ashley said, we've had some places about here, but if we get on that one, we might be a while tonight.
Say it again. I can't hear you.
I said, like Ashley said, we've had some conversations about this topic, but we're gonna leave it here because we'll be here for a while before the thing.
For the Fidelity and Faithful, or for the I Dream of Mommy?
No, Fidelity and Faithful.
Oh, we're gonna probably run this one back another time. I
Okay.
need some brothers on here, somebody to say something, because I was honest. I took it for the brother team. Yes, I feel that we do the most. Well, I don't know, because women, you're smooth with how you operate. But I feel that for us to think that women don't cheat or we're getting away with something, we're never getting away. We don't. So I think sometimes women will know you're cheating and they let you just mess it up till you just end up in a mousetrap. And with us, if we even get a whiff that you're doing something, we don't let it play through. We trying to destroy and go do it. And so yes, we're definitely, I feel, emotional. I mean, I've seen some of my male friends and I've got knocked down a couple of times because we don't really see it coming. We're not prepared for it. We don't expect it. We just can't see it.
Yeah, I don't think, and sometimes, the woman, I mean, our intuition is good, but we don't always see it coming because we might think we picked the good one and we don't know that he was going to be doing that stuff. But this was really good conversation. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't even know that we were talking about this topic, but it was good. And it just so happened that me and Brandy had been talking about this type of stuff. So wow. Yeah, I know it's good. I appreciate y'all having me on here and just being able to be vulnerable about past situations. But I hope as people tune in that they know, and analyze their situation that they're in and just know that like you get through it and that you don't have to tolerate too much out of situations. You don't have to tolerate cheating, but there is levels, like Jabril said. But it's all about like, where are you at and what do you deserve and that type of thing. So, but go ahead, y'all. Well, appreciate it.
Thank you, Ashley. And go back to our episode 1 where we talk about Barbie, that you're not the Barbie, because it's talking about your self-worth and who you are, because you are not no one's Barbie. All right. Well, we'll see you next week. Have a wonderful evening. And we're going to change the time. I think the time is going to change. We'll send out a message to let you know, but love to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Have a
good one.
All right. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.